Hello, and welcome to this video on VNX file migration. Migrating from one VNX to another VNX can be tricky today. There are many things that are involved. The global user mapper configuration is one. The data mover configuration and everything that pertains. The Kava, the KEP, your server parameters. The file systems themselves. Any VDMs with file systems mounted to them need to be migrated. You would have to move your interfaces from your source to destination, as well as any settings on those interfaces. Now, to get your destination system to look exactly like your source system, this could take tens of hundreds of CLI commands. To simplify the migration process, we've enhanced the VDM functionality. This is going to leverage the Replicator v2 technology. It's going to have three granularities: a VDM migration, a file system migration, and a system configuration migration. With these three things, you're going to be able to migrate from your source to destination. You have the ability to move your checkpoints and IPv4 interfaces from source to destination as well. You can also perform an online migration. Some factors come into play with that online migration, and you would want to refer to the Using VNX File Migration Tech Note for those factors. To show you a demo of the VNX File Migration GUI, I just wanted to give you some information here. So when you pull it up, you can go to Configure Systems. You can see we've added a couple systems in there. We've created the remote systems, east and west. We've created the interconnects as well between the data movers to get the migration going. From here, we can go to create a migration task, select a VDM migration, file system migration, or system configuration migration. This will go ahead and kick off a little wizard. You'll click through the wizard, click Next, type in your task name, select all your information, and just continue next through the little wizards. Once you do that, you'll have a pre-plan, which looks like one of these. It's going to have information to the right-hand pane. You'll see when you select each task in the task window. You can see the various states of the tasks. Now, some I have in the ready state, some I have like this VDM migration 3 here. It is ready to complete. So this has migrated all data from source to destination. It is in sync, and you can see that everything is ready to complete and cut over to that destination side. So if I hit this complete cutover, it's going to go ahead, tell me that there may cause service disruption, and it's going to go ahead and make the source read only, destination read write. I hit OK, it's going to go ahead and do its thing. Some things to note: the GUI here, when you create that information, you'll see a pre-plan. From that pre-plan, you will then create your plan, and then you'll have a plan and you're ready to begin your migration. When you click your complete migration, you'll see the state will change to completing. It will go ahead and cut over to the destination side, and then you'll see the information on the right hand pane of everything that transpired during that cutover time. Once the complete has finished, you see the state of complete 100%. You see the information over here on the right information pane. You see that it went and transferred to the destination side, and you can also see the cutover migration succeeded in 54 seconds. And then you'll notice you have the option up here to delete once you verify all your data and everything is working correctly on the destination side. You can go ahead and delete and clean up this migration task. For help with anything in the GUI, you can click the Help button here, which will launch the GUI walkthrough guide. Next, I'm going to show a demo about an online migration and an offline migration. So you'll see here we have the VDM2 file system that we're going to go ahead and migrate to the destination side. Now, I've already started this, and it is in the ready to complete state. On this VDM that we're about to migrate, I have an NFS data store. On that data store, I have a VM, and that VM is what we see here, and it's running a small diameter workload. The target that we're running the workload against is a second file system, also on this VDM. Just to show the workload that I'm running from this VM to the CIFS share file system, we have an 8K random workload, 6040 read-write. Next, I'll show the info for the VDM itself. You'll see here in the info for this VDM that we have the two file systems, VDM2_FS1 and VDM2_FS2. You'll also see here that we have the interface that's attached to this VDM called INT_VDM2, and this interface is listed below, and you see the IP address as the 10.245.21.124 address. Here you can see the NFS data store that is connected to the 21.124 IP address that we just saw, and we have named that VNX file migrations. If I go ahead and click on that data store, we'll see some more information underneath it. We'll see the server and the folder it's on. So this is going to just show that we are in fact on that VDM2_FS1 file system. Now coming back to the VNX file migration GUI, we can go ahead and click the complete cutover, which will go ahead and start the transition from source to destination. We'll see once again the pop-up for this may cause disruption, and we'll go ahead and click OK. Next, we'll just jump back over to Iometer and check that our load is still running, which we can see that it is. We're actually checking two things here. We're checking that the VM is still up and accessible, and it hasn't crashed, being that the NFS data store is migrating to the destination side. We're also checking that Iometer is still running and it hasn't crashed, as it's running CIFS to the CIFS share on the second file system on that VDM. Back to the VNX file migration tool, we see that the migration is 41% complete. We notice in the information pane, if we scroll down, we can start seeing the ongoings of the migration complete step. And we see that the Iometer and the VM itself are still up, neither have crashed or went down for any reason yet. Next, we'll take a look and we see that 64% is completed, and we see some file systems switching over. Now this time when we look at the VM, we notice that the VM is still accessible, however the Iometer seems to have stopped running. Looking back at the VNX file migration tool, we notice that the cutover has succeeded, and it has taken 43 seconds. Now, flipping back to the VM, we notice that the VM is still up, so we never lost access to the NFS data store, and the VM itself never crashed, so that was able to remain online during the migration. We do notice, however, Iometer is still not running. This is known to happen, and the CIFS connections would have to be re-established in order for Iometer to pick up again. If we just let Iometer keep going, we'll notice that it'll start throwing errors, and this is again due to that dropped connection, and it's not able to re-establish its own connection to the CIFS server. So there you have the demo on online and offline migration. We noticed that the NFS with hard mounts was able to survive the network outage and just pick up where it left off, and that was proven by the VM not crashing or going offline when that NFS data store was migrated and cut over. We noticed also that the CIFS is not able to handle that network outage. However, the application did not crash and it was able to remain online. And that is going to conclude the demo and a look around the GUI for the VNX file migration. Thank you. For a great source of additional information on the file migration, see the Using VNX File Migration Tech Note on EMC Online Support.